Hey, back in Symphonic Rain. So, sure enough, I couldn't exactly refuse anymore at the stage. But then I probably wouldn't have refused regardless. Well, whatever. Let's begin. Oh, wow. So, immediate editing or skip? Okay. Yeah, same to you. We cleaned up and exited the room together, something I've grown accustomed to lately. We didn't always walk home together, but today I was asked to tag along again. Naturally, I had no reason to refuse. Come to think of it, the time I spent playing music together with Fall has increased in recent days. My intentions remained ambiguous, yet time was flowing on, slowly but surely. I could still hear remnants of the girl's voice in the depths of my ears, as though working to erase the sound of rain pattering on the ground. Okay, Friday. Here we go. Well then, what shall I do now? Practice. Decided not to meet anyone today because I couldn't, and simply practice on my own. Time to go home. Let's go home. Sorry. If I feel a bit tired, it's because I am. And sick, because I am. So, the light that seeped in from the window had grown dim. The skies were still overcast with thick clouds, but during daytime I was able to get by without electric light, which was why I often failed to notice the gradual darkening of my apartment due to the setting sun behind the clouds. I played my muffled Fortelle and read a book I had lent from Asino until it was about time for an evening to set in. Forny notified me of the time as I was sitting behind my Fortelle, improvising some random tune. She was always humming a melody along with the sound of my playing, so it was surprising she could keep track of the time so well. She annoyed me sometimes, but being a person who easily lost track of the time, I was thankful to have her. Huh? It's that late already? I stretched and shot a glance toward the clock for the confirmation. It was slightly past 6 o'clock. Although I didn't have a set time for dinner, it still felt a bit too early to eat. Oh, it's still a little early, isn't it? Huh? What is it? Why do you ask? I could detect a hint of seriousness mixed in with her usual cheer. Oh right, it's Saturday. I guess eating out might be nice. Nah, not really. It probably would have popped into my head eventually. Forny? Oh, oops. What was that? Was that what you wanted to ask? Forny. Why did she ask something like that? And why did she expect me to eat out? Why did you expect I would? Oh. Yeah, I suppose. A diligent person. Didn't I tell you before? Why all of a sudden? Have I really? Well, I admit we've been at it fairly often lately, but what kind of person is she? Huh. Truth be told, I didn't really know myself. That's a difficult question. I wondered if she'd been listening to me or not. Her head inclined, she grumbled for a moment, and a second later she suddenly raised her voice.
じゃあ、私も行く。
What?
見てみたい。
You can't just...
ダメとは言わせないわよ。そんなこと言ったら、あるに言いつけてあげるんだから。
Okay, how?
見てなさいよ。このペンで。
No. Just as Forny grabbed a pen about the size of her body, I picked it up by the tip.
How?
She slipped and fell before she had a chance to utilize her wings, as though she having no grip at all.
何すんのよ。
You should know by now that this is an impossible task for you. Don't you ever learn?
だって。
Fine. I just have to take you along, right?
本当にいいの？
Better than having you write down stupid things. Anyway, she's working. I'm not sure if we'll be able to meet her, so no complaints afterward if we don't.
はいはい。奥まで歩いていけば、見るだけなら好きにできるもん。
I'd appreciate it if you didn't pull anything stupid. Well, anyway, I guess I'm the only one who has to get ready.
当たり前じゃない。こっちはいつでも行けるわよ。
The fairy, who didn't need any preparation to go out, spread her wings excitedly, and now she began urging me to hurry.
クリスはとろいね。
Unlike you, I live my life abiding by the laws of physics. Don't put me on the same level as a sprite of music, or whatever you call yourself. I stripped out of my loungewear and slipped into something presentable. From the looks of it, the rain outside was pretty weak, but still, I felt I shouldn't dress too sloppily. It was a mere Tratoria, but there was still the possibility fall would see me. Unlike in the town Ari lived, it was still warm here, so a coat wasn't quite necessary. I pulled on a heavy sweater and walked to the front door. Forny, I'm done. Come on.
遅い。
Forny flapped her wings in delight at the sound of my voice. She kind of felt like a pet to me, although I wouldn't dare say that to her face for fear of retaliation. She excitedly dove off the desk and dropped, or rather glided, all the way down, up to right in front of my feet. Before she had a chance to touch the floor, I caught her in midair and gently placed her on my shoulder.
じゃあ、行こっか。
Yeah. Let's do this. It was still a little chilly outside at night. Unable to get wet from the rain and seemingly not feeling any cold whatsoever, the little mysterious creature was cheerfully scouring the path beyond the rain.
こっち？こっち？
Yes, it's this way. I'm walking towards the place, so do I really need to tell you the way? You're not even walking on your own feet to begin with.
そんなことはどうでもいいの。久しぶりなんだから。
Well, sure, but... Seeing Forny scanning the town with keen interest made me realize how long it had been since we last went out together like this. She seemed to enjoy being outside. But since she'd rarely asked me to take her out, I always thought she didn't like it. But then, the chance to see fall in the flesh after all that I've told her about might instead be what she's so happy about. Are you happy?
そりゃ、久しぶりだからね。
Her soft wings moved and grazed my ear, which tickled a bit. Hey, don't move.
あ、ごめん。
Are you happy about getting to meet fall?
それもそうだけど、外に出るのがね。
Am I going to introduce her to fall and be like, I have a sprite on my shoulder? Can't you go out whenever you want? Your wings. Right, I guess you can't fly to high places with them.
一人でも出れるよ。歩いていけばいいんだもん。でもね。
What?
やっぱり一人で外に出るよりはね。
Huh? But...
あ、違うの。別にいつでも外に出たいわけじゃなくて、こうしてたまに出るから嬉しいのよ。
In that case, fine.
いいの。
She concluded with a smile, settling that topic of conversation. I silently wondered if it was really okay to leave it at that.
それ
A little longer. It's just around the next corner.
名前は？
Copair. Copert. You'll see when we get there. Anyway, I take it you understand?
わかってるって。クリスがファルと話してる時には話しかけない。
Also, no getting upset because I ignored you. And don't go wandering off on your own.
わかってますよーだ。
I went over a few rules we had agreed on when going out in the past. Other people couldn't see Forny, so under normal circumstances I didn't talk to her. It wasn't exactly desirable to be seen muttering to yourself like that. We're almost there. Tratoria.
いらっしゃいませ。
I was let in by the same waitress as before. I came in early this time, so it wasn't very crowded yet. Since I kicked my microphone, there were still many seats available. I could thankfully make full use of a table for two. I'd probably be done eating by 7 o'clock when it would become crowded, so I wouldn't have to sit at a table with a stranger. I lowered Forny from my shoulder and opened the menu, which I hadn't received the previous time.
何食べるの？
Doesn't matter. I answered in a low voice, keeping my eyes on the menu and making sure not to move my lips too conspicuously.
さっきの人じゃないよね。注文取りに来るのがファルさん？
No, she said she cooked the food in the kitchen. Right after the words had left my mouth, someone I hadn't seen before came to take my order. I ordered the same lasagna I'd had before and left the menu for what it was. Forny began badgering me about wanting to see Fall, apparently having gotten irritated after seeing yet another person that wasn't her appear.
ねえ、中まで見に行ってもいい？
If you're that eager, sure. Careful not to fall.
そっちの奥にあるのがお手洗いでしょ？その奥が関係者以外入っちゃいけない場所みたいだから。
Looks like it.
そこまで連れてって。
Oh well. She could be such a bother. She made it appear she didn't need anything at all, but then demanded all sorts of things from you. The moment I picked up Forny and put her on my shoulder, pretending to be scratching my head, someone suddenly called out to me from behind.
クリスさん、こんばんは。
Ah. Forny was about to fall due to the speed at which I turned around. I swiftly raised my arm to resettle her on my shoulder, pretending to be adjusting my clothes.
もう急に振り向かないでよ。また食べに来てくれたってことは気に入ってくれたんだ。あ、ひょっとして？
Good evening, Fall. I suppose you're right about that. I made sure to mention her name so Forny would understand. You're in your normal attire. What about work? What? No?
それがね、なんと今日から6時まででバイトは終わりでいいんだって。
Until what time did you normally work?
9時まで。それが3時間も短くなるのよ。今日はいきなりだったし、まだ残ってる仕事もあったから今までかかったけど、次からはもう少し要領よくできるはずだし。
But didn't the issue of whether or not it was possible to shorten the shift lay with her rather than with the manager? Or since Fall represented an important part of the kitchen, if she were to be omitted, the store would be inconvenienced. But in that case, this decision wouldn't make sense. I never put that much thought into it until now, but the very fact that Fall was working during such crucial times was a little peculiar. While I could venture a guess as to why someone would have to do that, Fall didn't look like the kind of person who would need to, and I hesitated to ask.
どうしたの？どうしたの？
Fall and Forny almost simultaneously asked me in an inquiring tone. I ignored Forny and replied vaguely, "No, it's nothing."
バイトのことでしょ？
What is?
どうして短くできたか。できるのなら、なぜ今までできなかったかってとこかな。
Yeah.
心配しなくても、バイト代は今までと変わらないんだって。
Fall's answer was right on the mark, as though she had been able to see right through my evasive words and silence. Her answer told me part of what I wanted to know.
どうしてファルはバイトしてるの?
Forny said, although only I could hear it. Since Fall was all I talked about to her lately, she had plenty of time to ponder such things. It seemed she had ended up with the same question as myself.
私も食事一緒にいい?
Huh?
お腹空いちゃって話したいこともあるし、席もちょうど二人席だし。
No, I wasn't. Go ahead. My ear was suddenly pulled, reminding me of the objective that I brought Forny here for.
よろしい。じゃあちょっと待ってて。
I expected her to take a seat, but Fall left only that and disappeared back into the kitchen. Was she planning on making her own meal?
ね
What's up?
え、なかなか美人ね。
I suppose so.
優しそうね。
I suppose so.
それで毎日遅くまで一緒に練習。
Of course not.
本当に?
Be quiet, she's back. Ending our low-voiced exchange with that, I shifted my gaze back to Fall, acting as though nothing was out of the ordinary.
私は静かにする必要ないけどね。お待たせ。
You went to the kitchen?
直接厨房で頼んできちゃった。わざわざオーダー取りに来てもらうのはちょっと気が引けるし。
Oh, I see. I suppose you wouldn't actually make your own food.
そりゃあね、せっかくクリスさんと一緒に食事できるのに。
Uh-oh. Forny furrowed her brow and grumbled at seeing Fall's cheeks redden. She was probably concerned about Ari. So, what did you order?
私はパスタ。クリスさんは?
I ordered the same as last time.
気に入ってくれたんだ。
Yeah, I suppose. What's with the supposing, man?
仲いいね。
She was right about that. Fall was blushing, telling me she was glad she could have dinner with me, and I had ordered the same lasagna she had treated me before. It was supposed to just be a random choice, though. But though it was true that I liked it, so I decided not to correct anyone and avoided Forny's gaze.
さあ、もうすぐ来るよ。さっき言った時にもう仕上げの焼きに入ってたから。
I see. I shot an uninspired response, perhaps overly conscious of Forny sitting next to me. I spent the time waiting for my meal, trying best not to show too much bluntness in my behavior.
結局あんまり話せなかったね。
I guess not. By the time Fall's order had arrived, the Tratoria was already packed, rendering us unable to have a relaxed meal. She struck up a conversation again underneath an awning in an alley a little ways from the store, where we had sought shelter from the rain.
でもこれでもっと練習に時間を使えるようになってよかった。
Fall brightly said all of a sudden. Huh? Oh, you're right.
明日は休みだけど、クリスさん練習は?
Well, I was planning to, on and off.
適当ってそんなので大丈夫なの? ちょっとクリスだって日曜日は結構頑張ってるんだからね。そりゃまあ普段は家に帰っても何にもしてないけどさ。
Did she even say ow? I flicked Forny's forehead while pretending to be wiping raindrops from my shoulder. It sounded to someone like she was standing up for me, but Fall couldn't hear her anyway. Besides, I was pretty sure Fall only said that out of concern. Well, something like that.
それならさ、明日も練習しない?
Despite it being a day off?
さっき話せなかったこともあるし。
But I'm kinda apprehensive about going to school on a free day. Chris, do it. I wasn't opposed to practicing of itself, so I meant that as more of a joke.
なら
Huh?
そういうことだよね。
I guess.
じゃあさ、私の部屋に来る。
Your apartment? Your apartment? I wouldn't want to intrude.
ということはクリスさんの部屋しかないか。
Huh?
フォルテールを運ぶ手間もいらないし、あの辺のアパートなら昼間に音を出してても、そう。
Oops. Well, you may have a point, but...
じゃあ完璧ね。
Jeez. What? Wait a minute now.
今の話のどこかにもん。
I have to clean my apartment.
私、お掃除好きだよ。
What?
それとも練習する気はない？
I didn't say that.
でも練習はきちんとするつもりで学院には行きたくねえ。そしてクリスさんの部屋なら楽器もあるし、音の問題もなし。いいように誘導されてるように聞こえるんだけど。
I'm agreeing with Forny. Yeah, that exactly sounds... That's exactly what it sounds like. I'm perfectly aware of that.
それでも問題があるということは？あら？次の言葉で決定的になっちゃうよ。
I'm aware of that too.
私と一緒に練習したくないってこと？あらあら、しまっちゃったか。
Oops. That's not it.
ということは？
Save. There? I'm going with it. Okay, fine. Let's do it. There was no way I could tell her that I didn't want to practice with her now. Sure, I enjoyed performing with her, but on Sunday?
あるからの手紙が来るのにね。
Right. Ari's letter would arrive. A letter that would worry about me being unable to find a partner. But would teaming up with Torta like Ari pushed me to really be the conclusion she wished for? The only thing I'd been able to sense throughout the letters up until now was the distance between Ari and I had grown. Was it this, or was it Torta that I wanted so badly to avert my eyes from? Okay, fine. I'd answered before I realized it.
本当？よかった。
All I wanted now was to shake off this hesitation and fully focus on the coming graduation recital. I lightly nodded to Forny, then began talking about tomorrow with Fall.
じゃあ明日の午後からでいいのね。
Okay. Sure, sorry I can't accept you in the morning.
昼からでも夜までやれば十分な時間になるよ。
That's a little...
冗談だって。練習とはいえ休日くらいは楽しんでもいいでしょ。
I'm glad to hear that.
じゃあコペルトの前で待ち合わせでもいい？
Since it'll be lunchtime then, how about having lunch there first?
それは明日決めようか。
Oh, well, either way is fine with me.
じゃあまた。
Oops, see you. Leaving a pleasant smile, Fall walked off into the rain. I watched her leave, then started to walk home until Forny stopped me by pulling my hair.
ねえ、本当に部屋に来るの？
I suppose she is.
トルタだってあんまり来たことないのに。
Things happen. Hey, Forny,
何？
you don't like Fall coming over?
いやってほどじゃないけど。
When I thought about it, I realized that apartment isn't just my own.
バカね。あの部屋のお金を払ってるのはクリスのご両親でしょ。私はただ居候というか勝手に住ませてもらってるだけだし、そんなことあるわけないでしょ。
What are you getting all flustered about? This isn't just about rent, is it?
そりゃそうだけど。ちょっとクリス、何が言いたいの？
Nothing, I was just asking.
なら私は別に構わないよ。
I see. Thanks.
そんなんでお礼を言わないでよ。
Really? Great. I concluded in a cheerful tone, mimicking fall. Don't get mad, you said it yourself.
そりゃそうだけど、
Well, whatever.
それは私のセリフでしょ、たくん。
In the end, we were able to settle on the matter in good spirits and went on as though nothing had happened. Forny was no longer upset, and she never made any snide comments about fall. Shall we go? In an attempt to avoid having my recently warmed up and fulfilled body grow cold, I hurriedly cut my way through the rain. By the way, I'd appreciate it if you kept this a secret from Ari. Forny seemed a bit surprised at the final words I spoke to her on the trek home. Against my expectation of her getting angry and retaliating, Forny only quietly smiled.
そうね、内緒にしといてあげる。
And it is Sunday, which I will continue tomorrow. So save in 11th slot. So yeah, thanks for watching.